live from my converted garage.
To you today.
On
Welcome,
this full day.
welcome, Deborah, Colleen Rose, and
Colleen.
Colleen. Uh, okay, fine.
I'm Southern Irish.
Colleen Rose and Luann Morris.
Do you have a middle name?
I have a first name,
Do you have a middle name?
Luann.
What's the middle name?
Luann. My middle name is Luann.
I got it. So what's your first name?
Mary.
I like that, Mary Luann.
Mhm.
I'm going to call you Sister Mary Luann from now on.
Oh no, please. Far from it.
Do you remember that old comedy routine from from the 70s, Sister Mary Elephant? And she was teaching the class, and the class was all throwing a fit. And it's from Second City Television. They did an album, and she's yelling and yelling, and then all of a sudden she goes, and it gets real quiet. She goes, "Thank you." That's what it made me think of. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, I think today I want to talk about how we have expectations from our families, and not just mothers and fathers and grandparents, but our children. Some people have expectations of their, what I call, not in the immediate family, which is cousins, aunts, uncles. But I guess it's not, we shouldn't have expectations. Like,
Why? Why? Why shouldn't we?
because we just need to accept the way they interact with us. We should promote interaction. We should promote, like, my children. I expect them to take care of me, but what I should do is spend more time trying to interact with them and talk with them, and make sure that they respect me as their mother.
What? Yes and no.
Okay, so your opinion is?
Yes and no. um, First, I have to say this. I have ADD really bad today, so I'm cleaning my desk while we're doing this because it's bugging me. um, I have been told that my best quality is also my worst quality, and I think that's true.
Which
And
is?
that is that I can see the potential that people have, who they could be if they really applied themselves or made a choice to really, to focus on being the be the best that you can be. That's some kind of commercial or whatever. And so when I am dealing with people, I'm very hopeful and very expectant because of that, because I can see that in them. And then when they don't choose to live up to their potential and do the things that they are capable of doing, I'm very disappointed in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think the reason I'm bringing that up is that I think there's a happy medium of what you can expect from your friends and your family and what you're willing to accept from them, and then the things that you will take exceptions to and not allow in your life or tolerate. So I don't think it's an either or. And I think they have a responsibility to meet you somewhere, walking toward that middle of saying, this is what I want from you. And they're going, well, I don't want to give that to you. Okay, what do you want to give to me? And then that's what respect looks like, being able to negotiate and mediate.
Right. I think if, as mothers, we continue to tell our children, regardless of how old they are, I expect you to act this way. I expect you to do these things. I expect. But unfortunately, the time to do all that is when they're young, not as an adult.
I think that's true to a certain point. However, I don't we all need to be reminded to put our best foot forward at times? And don't we
Maybe.
all need to be reminded of our roots and our dreams and our hopes and what we have to do to achieve those? And who better to do that than your mother? Because she's known you from day one and what you were capable of and not capable of and what you have overcome. So I'll just tell on myself. I was having an encounter with my son this weekend. Over my son lives in one of my properties, and we've been clashing over the quality of his lifestyle in my house. Meaning it's not kept to the standards that I want. And most landlords have these same standards. So it's not like I'm putting him up or saying, you have to do this. This is what most landlords do, keep the house working. Don't let it fall down over your head. But because you created chaos and drama and tore the house down, okay, that type of thing. And so I was over there helping him to achieve some of these goals. And he talked to me in the tone of voice I'm sick of hearing. Okay.
And that's about respect, not so much as expectation.
Well, he says it's not about even about respect. He says it's because he's tired and
Yeah, I'm sorry.
stressed. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm tired and I'm stressed. So let me just go ahead and tell you, you talk to me in that tone of voice again, I'm going to knock your head off your shoulders.
Uh,
You know?
I have told my children, you're never too big or too old for me to spank.
Well, it was amazing to me. For the next 4 hours, he did not talk to me in that tone of voice anymore. So he was able to exert some initiative and some effort and some control into his life. So sometimes you have to remind people to want to do things better.
Right. And I think maybe we need to give it a different name other than I expect you to do this. Maybe it's not really about my expectations. It's about what your standard should be.
It's what I will tolerate. It's what it boils down to. It's what I will tolerate or not tolerate. Um, you know, people are allowed to be who they are. Okay. I'm obviously one of the world's best at that. I am who I am. And there are people that love me and there are people that just think I'm awful. I get that. I don't care. However, if I care about an individual and I care enough to want to have a relationship with them, then I know that I have to meet them somewhere on their own terms. It's not all about them being tolerant of me. Though most of my friends are very tolerant of me, I will say that.
Sometimes it's about calling me on my shit.
Well, and I think it's mutual. I think we have to, and I think that's what what's the word for that? I think that comes from not just accepting someone or loving someone but it's truly understanding them and being able to paddle in their canoe with them for a while. And
I call it being kind and caring.
Yeah, sometimes not talking to people is kind and caring from my perspective. I know they don't want to hear what I have to say. I'll just walk away and leave them be for a while. There's no point throwing gasoline on that fire.
No.
So it's about being able to discern, having some cohesive choices put together based upon input and thought and consideration. So I don't know, how you separate all those. To me, if there's respect, then there's tolerance. If there's tolerance, there's dignity. And the only thing that to me is an optional component, there's love.
Well, and the way I was raised, I didn't question my grandparents or my parents until I was 16. My parents had a great life because I respected everything they said and tried to do everything I thought that was required of me as a child. And then I turned 16. And I became rebellious. And I told them to go F themselves.
Well, that wasn't very smart.
Well, no, it wasn't. But I knew the better, right? I knew better than they did. And
Well,
instead,
obviously you didn't, because if you had known better, you could have figured out a way to go do what you wanted to do and them not know about it and you not get in trouble. And then
right,
they think you're a lovely child until you move out of the house.
yes, right. So there was no, shall we say, I was an only child and there were no consequences growing up. I was just allowed to do everything. But not until I became 16 and became rebellious, they went, oh, no, you can't do that. Well, I'm sorry, but that's 16 years of being told I could. And so I did. Now, I'm not saying I'm proud of that. I'm not. And what made it even worse is by the time I was 20, I'd lost my mother. And I thought, wow, I just really screwed that up. I lost all that time with her being combative, being out of control, you know, thinking that I knew everything.
So you regret that you didn't have peaceful time with her.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Because I only,
Because
the, probably the last year and a half or 2 years of her life, I did come to that peaceful existence and, tried to tell her that how important she was to me. But they, I don't think children should be given full reign. I think that parents should teach them there are limits, there are consequences, and not just let them do whatever.
Hmm.
If you have to
Okay,
raise
thanks.
them, okay, good night.
See y'all next week.
You have to be raised that way to continue to be that way until you can get out on your own.
Yeah, but now you're talking about something entirely different. You're talking about ability to parent.
I suppose so, but a lot
And
of
there's a
it
lot of
is,
people that don't have that ability.
and why is that? Did they not have the example?
I think that's sometimes true. I think it's what I see a lot in my own family, and then also with a lot of my clients, is that they were raised a certain way and we're not happy with that raising, you know, so it's like, okay, so this is what my parents did, and I hated that, so I'm going to do the exact opposite. Well,
Mhm.
I think that if we don't learn anything else in life, is that normally, on average, extremes from one extreme to the other are both detrimental.
I
There's
agree.
no ground.
No, I
And
agree.
I see that as being a lot of the issue. A revelation for me was that while my parents would tell me good rules and good advice, I didn't see them adhering to that.
Yeah.
But I also understood my parents had the authority and the power. So I learned to just fly under the radar. I was not always this outspoken, rebellious thing that you see now, at least at home. I learned to fly under the radar and keep my shit to myself and follow the rules to enough to where nobody was, looking under the cover or um, looking at me under a magnifying glass, and then doing pretty much what I wanted to do. Well, surprising.
Well,
No.
yeah. So I do have, oh, here's that word again, expectations of if I'm going to treat you with kindness and love, I expect you to treat me that way too. And it
Well,
doesn't always,
don't you think most people think they believe that at least?
yes, yes.
The problem comes in the definitions. What is your definition of love and respect? What is my definition of love and respect? And you see this really exemplified and magnified in married couples, when there's books, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and the 102 love languages or whatever it is, what's your love language? Well, it really doesn't matter what my love language is. My job is to figure out what your love language is and talk to you in your language, or at least,
Hmm.
you know.
Right. But I didn't even, I mean, growing up, uh, probably till I was in my 40s, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that.
Do you really know what it means now, though? I mean, let's be honest. Does anybody really know what that means? I mean, to, to me, it is an oversimplification of something very complicated. And I get frustrated when people go, "Oh, well, you're people go, well, on Briggs Myers." I start saying Briggs Stratton. That's a motor. On Briggs Myers, you're blah blah blah, and I'm this, so blah blah blah. Or I am INFJ and you're INTPPP or whatever. So we have to do this, and what? You know,
Yeah, I don't know. I have studied those, but not to the point where I'm going to tell you you're one or another.
well, even if you are, okay, so I'll agree that in some of those personality tests, man, that fits me to a T for that part, like this whole screen's me. So this part of it, that definition fits this, but what about this part over here? And what about this part over here? Can you see me? There. I get my hand higher. So, I need a chalkboard.
You need
you
a
know,
whiteboard behind you. You can stand up
I
and go,
do.
okay, now right here.
You can do that with Zoom. I just have never figured out how to do that. But, you know, people want these nice, tidy little answers tied up in a pretty box with a pretty bow. And then they wonder why things will be great in the relationship for a couple of weeks and then they fall apart again when they've been having problems. It's because
Because
you're not
everybody's
addressing the
different.
person, you know? I mean, let's analyze yours and my relationship. Why does it work so well? Because you're so stubborn.
Yes, I am. I am
You
stubborn,
are.
but I'm also not afraid to speak out with you. And I think that's because you respect my opinion. So, but I'm not afraid to have a different opinion than you.
Well, why would I want you to, as a friend, if I didn't respect your opinion and think you're intelligent? Why would I want to have a relationship with you? That's the first thing. If you think people are stupid, why are you trying to have a relationship with them? That's what floors me.
And
You
it's not that and it's not that I think my other friends are stupid. It's just that they are sensitive, and they seem to be sensitive if I have a different opinion.
I think we agree on probably maybe about 50% of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we can usually come to a meeting of minds in the center of things. And like, I don't know, it's not compromise. It's just we always seem to look for the things that we can agree on.
Well, when we were doing our intuitive cards, it was like
And that was
you would say, I really don't know. I don't like that picture. What is it about that picture that you don't like? And then we would figure out what that was and then compromise on something that said it differently. But
yeah, you couldn't tell me it was stupid. Yeah, this is the thing that always drives me nuts. And a lot of people in my family do this. Well, if you don't like it, go find another solution yourself. That's all I got.
okay, I will.
Okay, well, okay, so throw me under the bus and tell me I'm out there working alone and tell me I don't have a team or family supporting me because you gave me the answer and I didn't like it. So you're done. I
And
hate
that's
that.
just it. I do have 9 cousins that I really don't have any relationship with.
Well, and let's be honest, I didn't have many complaints on the pictures. I just didn't like them being so red. Once she figured
There
out what
she
my
goes.
picture was,
There
too
she
much
goes.
orange, too much red. Get that out of there. I was good. She was the one that had an issue with the words. We had to get the words right.
Yes. And I'm still having an issue with generational curses
Really, why?
because
I'm
he,
talking about it right now. This is ironic because this is really what we're talking about here. It falls
um,
under that.
it does fall under that because a lot of people see a curse as something that someone has sent to you or given to you or said some sort of incantation to make you cursed.
Cursed be way.
There she goes, spraying away the negative. Mm.
Curses are patterns that have no explanation other than their patterns. They're not conscious decisions. Um, Maybe you have a droopy eyelid because you inherited that
Mhm.
through DNA. Maybe there's alcoholism in your family because you inherited that through learned behavior or through DNA or both.
Mhm.
You know, you didn't sit down and say, oh, by God, I'm going to have 10 drinks a day and I'm going to be an alcoholic by the time I'm 12.
Exactly, and that's the example I give. So maybe we should have called it generational patterns.
No, because I do believe it's spiritually, you can break these. It's because of the spiritual component that I was so insistent on the word generational curses, because I
Okay.
do think that if we could fix everything through modern medicine, it would be different, but we can't. And I have seen extraordinary changes in my life through spiritual, um, I don't want to say prayer, but I guess it really is through spiritual prayer to break those curses. So that's why I was so insistent on that. I do
It's a
believe it's a,
conscious change of things that you know don't want to show up in your life and your children's life.
yeah, it's what is not whole in your family. We talk about holistic. Holistic means whole. Being whole is a combination of mind, body, and spirit. It's the same thing with generational things in families. You can have physical, spiritual, and mental things that are passed on in families. Physical DNA, mental abuse, spiritual, lessons
Yeah,
that are learned or not taught, that type of thing.
right.
So, so
Sometimes
I
they're
still,
learned,
so I still think I'm right.
but I do have to explain it sometimes because there are those that take it, take it a little objection to being called a curse.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about gypsies throwing a voodoo doll in front of your
No, that's not
horse-drawn
what they do.
carriage. Yeah,
And
that
that's when
type.
I drag out so maybe grandfather drank too much, and because he did, it influenced the next generation to drink too much, and because they did, then their children did. And
Well,
so
the biggest generational curse of this world today seems to be sexual abuse of children. And one of the things that they're discussing, and whether you believe it or not, is that primarily most people that abuse children were abused as children. So
I
that's a
hear that.
learned behavior, but it's also damage to the spirit and damage to the psyche. And
Right.
one of the things that comes to mind when I think about that is Joyce Myers, who I love. I'm not real big on preachers, especially TV preachers, but I love that woman because she talks about how she got her start in the ministry wearing hot pants and smoking cigarettes, doing Bible study at her house. No, God said, you know,
Mm.
but she was abused by her father sexually, and she wound up forgiving him and taking him in her home and caring for him until he died in his old age. Now, to
Wow.
me, that is a perfect example of the breaking of a generational curse.
Yes.
And she talks about how that curse affected her marriage when she was first married. It affected how she mothered her children or did not mother her children when they were younger.
Mhm.
But she was able to go through there and break that. So to me, that's a great example of what I relate to.
Uh, I
Yes,
I'm
I
a
expect
very
everybody to.
yeah, I'm very uncomfortable talking to someone about incest. So I always use the scenario. Um, but I hope that they can draw a parallel to that if that's something that is in their life.
Do you want me to ask you why you're uncomfortable, or you want to leave that alone?
Um, you can ask, but I'm not sure I have an answer.
No, we'll just leave it alone right now because this is not a counseling session.
No, it is not.
No, I do feel purged when we do these things.
You just want to go into that counseling, don't you?
No, I really don't. I don't enjoy it, honestly, to like to have a client and meet with them once a week. Oh, do of course it's not counseling, it's coaching. I don't enjoy doing that for very long. I don't mind meeting with someone once or twice, but then I'm kind of done. Go forth and be fruitful.
The problem I has is people who come to me who want readings, and I do a reading for them, and I tell them this, this, and this, and the way that you move forward is this, this, and this. And then they come to me, and 4 or 5 weeks later, and it's the same thing. And I said, did you try doing such and such and so to change that for yourself? Well, no.
Yeah, see,
I said, well, then it's the same answer over and over again until you change something. You have free will and you can change it.
Yeah, I don't mind helping people put together a strategy, defining their goals. I like doing that. Okay, and what are you willing to do? Let's do some free thinking and come up with a list of things that you could do to try to facilitate that. Which ones are you willing to try? Then have them say, okay, I'm willing to try this. Well, okay, well then I don't need to talk to you until you go and try these.
Right.
So I don't need to see you for a month, 6 months, whatever. But until you do these things and get some results that we can talk about, we're done. And that's just a very different style of coaching. And most people, I have found many who just aren't willing to do those changes.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Why are you not willing to walk through the door and make a difference?
I mean, I can't get over like Woody Allen talks about the fact he's been in therapy for 40 something years. Oh my God, really? Go get a friend. Yeah,
Well, I
seriously.
was in therapy for 2 years with a counselor, and it was the best 2 years of my life to help me see why I was thinking the way I was.
But you were dealing with more than one issue.
Yes.
Generally, with coaching, you're focused on one, maybe two issues most when you're coaching. If you have other things to deal with after that, that's fine. But again, you have to work the program to move on to the next issues,
Mm-hmm.
unless you find that there's something that's really a huge roadblock or whatever. It's one of the reasons why I like handwriting therapy. It takes care of a lot of things all at once, and you don't have
Right.
to talk about it, and you don't have to relive it. And, because I have seen a lot of people re-traumatize themselves by doing therapy or counseling or whatever, because they go and talk about something and it's like they're reliving it. And so they're re-traumatizing themselves.
Right.
Sometimes talking can be good. Sometimes you just need to get it out. You need to regurgitate, but other times you're anchoring it that even deeper into your subconscious.
Well, I know that my counselor because the problem I was having is I wanted to be with John's father. That's my oldest child. And because I felt like that we were really meant to raise him together. And she said, he hits his wife, abuses his wife. And what makes you think he's not going to hit you and you want that person? And I was like,
Yeah,
no, I don't want that.
good for her.
And
Good
she
for her.
said, and you think he's going to change?
Yeah.
No. And it was kind of like an aha moment with my thinking. What was I thinking? What was I thinking that, because I wasn't.
Yeah, I had the same conversation with myself when I got pregnant with my son Josh. His father wanted to marry me, and I said no. And everybody's in my family's like, "You're pregnant and you're single, and why aren't you getting married?" Well, because he had cheated on everybody else in his life. Why would I think that he would not cheat on me? And I
Well,
didn't want
John's
to
father
deal with.
was not married when we were together. It was
Yeah,
married after. So,
that was kind of a moot point at that point, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I was.
Hello, you're not getting married because he's already married.
Hmm. But so yeah, I was just thinking the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes you
was
have to have
thinking
people walk you through to clarity.
because he was not that kind of person with me. He didn't abuse me. He didn't talk down to me. We had a different kind of relationship, but it was only a 4-month, 5-month relationship. But when he was with this other girl, he was the abusive narcissist.
Yeah, but again, you had expectations of him and he didn't live up to them.
Right.
So just so you people know, we're back on topic.
Expectations. Yes, your expectations. So you can expect it, but it may or may not be the truth. It may not.
Well, I was going to say, I have to admit, there's been a lot of people that I've been disappointed in my life, but it's not necessarily their fault. Again, it's because I had expectations that they never agreed to, they never committed to.
Right.
I assumed or I saw that they were capable, but just because you're capable doesn't mean you choose to. I'm very capable at doing a lot of things that I don't want to do.
And I try not to give any unsolicited advice except to my kids. I do give them unsolicited advice.
I don't to my children anymore because I get tired of wasting my breath. Now, with that said, I have one codicil. If you call me and you bring me into your problem, not only will I give you advice, I will probably take over because you have now made this my problem and I make my problems go away. That's how I run my life. I don't keep problems in my life. So if you call me and say, here's my problem and I want you to deal with it, okay, get out of my way. I will deal with it. And I can guarantee you, you're not going to like it as much as you think you're going to, but oh well. You open the door, the
When
pony's
I
out.
call you, I say, can you give me your opinion? I don't ask you to fix it.
No, say that's the difference. That's the difference. I don't mind giving people my opinion. I have one about everything, just about.
God, yes, she does.
And nobody cares. So when someone asks for my opinion, I'll give it to them and they do what they want to with it. That's free. You come and ask me 3 times about the same thing, then you're going to pay for it. Literally.
Okay, now I have to charge you.
Yeah, I have to charge you. You're now on the clock. Oh, okay. Go. Here's my Venmo.
So it's going to be interesting. I just, I think you're right. If we have expectations, that's fine, but it's not something we discussed with the other person. So they're not obligated to fulfill our expectations.
No, but on the other side of the coin, I think this frustrates me even more is when people have these expectations, they don't discuss it with the other person lets them down or aggravates them or disappoints them, and then they cut them off. Oh, they're toxic. Well, no, they're not toxic. They just didn't do what you wanted them to do. That doesn't make them toxic. I get so tired of these cliche phrases that come up in our society.
You mean labels?
Yeah, I'm woke. Well, I'm not. I haven't had any coffee yet, so shut up.
I believe we did want to talk about labels and why do you get a label? Why do people rely on labels? And we've had this discussion before.
Because it's easier to get a label with a general concept behind it. To me, it's like watching or reading a comic book and here's the person and they got the bubble over their head with the little words. It's so much easier to do that than to read Shakespeare. Okay, relationships are like reading Shakespeare, and the labels give us these foundations of little bits of information, and we think we have enough to make great decisions, and we don't, and we wind up making really shitty decisions because we don't have enough information. I'm done. Bye. No. Go forth and prosper.
So when you meet someone, do you think that you need to say to them, my expectation for this relationship is?
Well, I tell pretty much everyone, because I had the weirdest thing happen to me the past 2 months. I've had people contact me on Facebook and say, I want to go to lunch with you. I want to meet you. Okay.
Okay.
I haven't had that happen since I ran an ad in the Dallas Observer years ago to meet men. I remember it too. It says, I'm as comfortable uptown as I am in downtown. I can wear a ball gown or blue jeans and boots. I can do the waltz or I can boot scoot. What would you like to do? No, something like
That's cute.
that. And this is what's crazy. This is during the time when you had a printed ad and then you had to put in a phone number and people actually called you. And if you weren't smart enough to go out and get like a pager or voicemail, they were calling your house at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey baby, you want to get together? I saw your ad. Not that I did that, but no.
What? You didn't?
But anyway, getting back to my point, I've had people call and say they want to meet me. And so I've gone out because it's really hard for me to socialize and when I'm not working. And so I've been going out and meeting these people, seeing if there's like a purpose or God's leading me somewhere or whatever. And I tell them, look, I don't do I don't socialize, but I do look for relationships. And my friendships are like marriages without sex. They're deep, they're intense. They should be two-way streets where I can cry on your shoulder, you can cry on my shoulder. Somebody's going to carry more than their fair share of the load at times than the other. It's not always going to be 50-50. I'll take a bullet for you. I'll push you in front of a bullet if it's coming my way. But we're not having
That's
sex.
not reciprocated.
You know what I'm saying? And so I've not had very many people call me back for whatever reason.
But you're just telling them the way you see relationships.
Yeah.
And if they don't see it that way, then they don't.
I don't do casual unless it's sex. Casual sex was easy for me when I was younger, but casual relationships was not. I don't know what that says about who I was when I was younger, except maybe I was a slut, but
I've heard that word.
boy, this has gone way downhill today, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. But
way down.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, except that we need to change our verbiage on. It's not an expectation. It's just that here's the way I feel about relationships.
Oh, I think we're let's kick it up a notch. This is what I want. What's wrong with saying that? Nobody says that anymore. This is what I want.
Right.
Can you give this to me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in your DNA to provide this for someone? And if it is, will you provide that to me? I mean, it just doesn't get any more authentic, transparent, or real than that. Vulnerable. It's vulnerability. And it's really funny to me. Oh, I'm about to say something profound. Listen. It's amazing to me how people are constantly disappointed, but they're not willing to make themselves vulnerable enough for the person to want to connect to them. We're done.
Okay, vulnerable. The word is expectations, vulnerability, opening yourself up, telling people what you want. Not that it's an expectation. This is what I want.
I want to be able to sit down if I am really upset or sad and cry so ugly that I got snot running out of both my nostrils and running down the side of my face. And I'm okay doing that with that person because I know that after they get through doing whatever they're doing, they will get up and go get a wash rag and wash my face. There it is.
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's what I want. If you can't wipe the snot off my face, then what are we doing here? I've only cried like that twice in my life, so the chances of that ever happening again are slim to none, but I want to know that you'll do that if I do. you know.
Well, I'm gonna at least get you a Kleenex.
And you'll sit there and go, Deborah, I like you a lot, Deborah.
Stop.
That's what you say to me. I like you a lot.
You know why I do.
I know. You know what's fun about these things?
No.
Is that when we die, I hope our grandkids watch these things later on and they're going to go, damn, we wish we'd known these women better.
See, they should, because we have a lot to say and we have a lot of opinions that they need to listen to. Not that they need to follow them, but they need to know about different started to say expectations. They need to know that we're just different. And the
You
way
know what
we
I want? You know what I wanted to say?
uh,
Those were some filthy, dirty old women, but they were smart.
yeah. My grandson already calls me the psychic. So I'm good.
I love it. I love it. When Josh got with his spouse, her two kids were like 6 or 7, and her two boys, and Scott was about 6 too. And one of the first things she told these kids, oh my God, I love this. He goes, now boys, now she's 6 and she's talking like this. Now boys, y'all need to listen to May because she knows everything.
She already knew. Yeah, but
Oh,
there's that transition where they think you know nothing.
don't do that.
And then they go back to, yeah, you do.
Well, I think she still thinks I know everything, but she just wants me to leave her the hell alone so she can figure it out herself.
That's okay.
Yeah. Because I keep telling her I'm going to go to college with her.
No, you are not.
And I'm going to do background checks on all her boyfriends.
I can see you doing that.
And that I'm going to put a tracker on her car.
Oh, Deborah.
I said, that's the price you pay if you want me to live with you to take care of your babies while you're working. And she'll go, okay.
You're 12. She's 12.
Oh, she's not. She's
No,
not
she's
12.
not. No,
She's really, she
the
really
calendar
is.
says she's 12.
Oh no, I'm going to tell you, this child has got so much going on. She I'm proud of her, and I'm also embarrassed by how she shows me up. I mean, if I'd had so much going on when I was 12 like she does, oh my God, I would have been president.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to give it to them. Yeah. And you have to tell them. You have to reinforce it. Are you telling
Well,
her?
yes, yes. I tell her, well, right now we're kind of going through an attitude adjustment. So she's actually been on my negative side the past couple of weeks, a few times, which is new for her because I'm always like, oh, you're so perfect. You know? And
And none
so
of us are.
now she's getting the okay, you're in trouble voice. So it's been kind of a wake-up call for her.
That's when you look at her and go, so do you think May still knows everything?
No, this is what I say. I don't care if you think I know everything or not. I'm still in charge. I deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm in charge. When you're in charge, then I'll deal with it. But I'm in charge, so you deal with it.
I get that.
So, all right. Well, I feel like we had a good talk.
Yeah, it was a good talk. Maybe I can learn to change some of my verbiage to this is what I want.
Well, it's not changing your verbiage. It's just saying it. Just say, I want this.
Because I've used the word expectation, my expectation for this relationship. And it's not that, it's what I want out of this relationship.
Yeah. And if they say, well, I'm not going to do that, say, well, okay, well, you're cute enough that I'll take this out of you for this relationship, but I will move on when something better comes along. I've done that too. and it got me engaged to 3 guys at one time, so it works.
Oh, that's just dangerous.
It was
All right.
fun. I had a good time. Good times, good times.
All right. I don't know anything else to say today, except I hope that you have a great day.
I'm cold right now. Are you cold?
A little bit cold, yeah. That's why I have a sweater on.
I put my cougar sweater on.
You are a cougar. You're married.
I was
You're
I was cougar before cougar was cool.
okay.
I don't know how anyone looks at me. I look weird. I just don't even look at the camera.
I'm just fluffy.
Are you fluffy or squishy?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, yeah, I like squishy. All right, we will see you guys next week. What are we going to talk about next week? Let's go ahead and decide right
Well,
now.
do you want to do the label thing next week? And
Yeah, let's
I
talk
mean,
about labels
okay,
because I am
we'll
sick
talk
and
about
tired of
labels.
people trying to put labels on me, not having it.
Well, there are some that you'll never be able to get rid of,
Like slut.
like white lady, because
No,
you
no,
are.
no. It's crazy white lady.
Okay, I'll go with that.
That's what a lot of my when I had my bell bond business. That's what a lot of my clients, because I did a lot of across the board bonds. And so I had a lot of bonds from South Dallas and stuff. And they all loved me. All my clients loved me, even when I put them back in jail. But they always said, you're a crazy white lady. We don't mess with you. You're a crazy white lady.
Yes.
I said, this
I
crazy
think
white
that's
lady.
I think that's a good label to have myself, but okay.
Well, I tell you what, fear and respect are very relatable.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
I can't have one, I'll accept the other.
All right. Mhm.
All right. Well, tell everybody bye. Tell them where do they find you.
Bye for now, and you can find me at herbal-lou.com and at herballou1105 at gmail.com.
Well, it's
That's
not finding you. That's emailing you.
yes.
I have an expectation for you to get this right eventually.
Oh God. Okay, so you can find me at Spotify for this, and I do my herbal things on Blog Talk Radio, Make It So Network. And so what else? At Miles of Smiles Entertainment, where we do a variety of things to entertain your groups.
They don't pole dance though.
No, we don't. But we do
I did get
have
a call for that. I did get a call for No, we do
that
not
will
pole
not
dance.
be me ever.
I use a pole to stand up, but no.
Or you can find oh snap, what is that called? Enchanted Essentials. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's one of our
Through
specialty services. You really should go look at our specialty page on milesofsmilesevents.com. We do fortune telling and all kinds of things that entails. We have a thing called Uniquely Yours, which is a combination of analyzing lip prints and handwriting analysis. We do Enchanted Essentials, where we come and give you a customized essential roll on after getting a mini reading, and that takes 2 people. We work together. So we must really like each other to do that together. We do a custom, say we because we work together, a custom scent that's just yours as a giveaway at weddings and parties. We have Knock Knock, the man of many faces. He's our clown. We have Celestial Signs, which is a quick astrological chart reading at a party. It's not like what you're going to get if you do a full chart, but they're fun. They're interesting. So we have a lot of things on there. One of our newest things is Paw Mystery, which is paw print readings for your dogs. So those are fun. So check that out. I still have my PI company, Investigative Solutions Group, isgu.com. And yes, I am one of the best investigators in the state by my own decision.
people do call her and hire her, so she must do
They
something
do.
right.
Most of my clients are other PIs, so I think that says something. And then I have DeborahColleenRose.com, which is my spiritual coaching and handwriting therapy and stuff. And then we actually have our first request for a paranormal investigation off of DFW paranormalinvestigations.com that we'll be analyzing and see if we're going to take the case or not. So we're busy. We're not just doing this because we're bored. We're busy bees.
Busy, busy, busy.
Yes. So, all right. Till next week, we will see y'all later. Stay out of trouble. Stay warm.
Bye.